I had the same kind of childhood experience you could expect any overweight queer kid to have, but it was formative as to like who I became. My drag name is Allysin Chaynes, and I'm from Toronto. I was always just really fascinated by the idea that someone could transform themselves into something different and get away with it. In terms of my drag, it's so much more about playing with gender and playing with the in-between of what gender can be. I don't shape my arms, and I'm much more trying to pass as like a cartoon of femininity. Drag taught me a huge amount about body confidence and things like that. When you're able to control exactly the way you want your body to look and be perceived by a bunch of people, that's insanely powerful. And especially someone who was brought up basically being told their body was like wrong just for being the way it was. To be able to have that power to pull and shape and tuck it and tape it into whatever thing you want it to be is brilliant. I mean, like I was always, you know, made fun of for being a fat kid, and then I took my chest, taped it together, and made my boobs bigger. And it's like, you know, it's all kind of a big fuck you to anyone who thinks that there's any sort of wrong body.
How are my tits looking?
So good.
I feel like they're getting a little far apart. They're not agreeing as much as they used to. They're fighting.
I have a very good friend, and he was like, you need to come out and see some West End drag. And I was like, what the hell is West End drag? I didn't know there was like a scene beyond the village. I was blown away by feeling love and acceptance. It was like watching Rocky Horror again for the first time, peeling back, you know, a layer and seeing this underground community under the other world that's existing in this kind of parallel dimensional plane blew my mind. Every place I perform has a different kind of energy, and I like them all for different reasons. But if I had to pick just two favorites, I would pick like my two home bars, which is the Beaver on Queen West and the Gladstone Hotel. I always say that the best drag shows are like a collaboration between the audience and the performer. It's not you're presenting one thing and they are consuming it. You are creating something together. The energy of a space and the energy of a performance has just as much to do with how an audience is reacting to it as how the drag queen is performing it. And I loved the idea that the art I created, I could watch people consume as I'm creating it. I could watch how it's affecting people while I'm performing it. And that is what really connected me to it. Drag families can be just families to people. So nowadays they can be everything from families that live together, families that work together, families that perform together. Chosen families are very important to queer people, especially for people who don't have relationships with the families that they grew up with.
Hey Champagna, how are you?
I'm fine, how are you, Allysin?
I'm good. Hey guys, how are you? It's good to be home!
Tracy, one of the organizers, got an email from this mother saying that I have an 11-year-old genderqueer son who is obsessed with RuPaul's Drag Race and loves drag queens. So I was like, could you please get me in contact with this woman immediately? I need to meet this kid. And so we met right at the corner of my street and we had coffee and, you know, one thing turned into another. And I started putting that kid in drag, and he has a drag name, and he has a drag style now. Having to have that kid think that I'm cool is like the greatest thing that's ever come out of drag for me, ever. And it probably will be forever, and I'm fine with that. I don't think there's much that's going to come closer than like an 11, 12-year-old thinking you're awesome. Like, I put him in drag for his bar mitzvah, and he did his bar mitzvah in drag, and like mentioned me in his bar mitzvah speech, and I'm like getting emotional now thinking about it. Like, I sobbed. It was really, really sweet. He's the coolest kid in the world.